Look at that. Look at that. How are you?
Thank you, Mr. President.
Believe it or not, it is just 2 weeks until the general election. And over the weekend, Donald Trump was caught staging an appearance at a McDonald's while also refusing to acknowledge a question on the minimum wage, which he, of course, does not support raising. In fact, in 2016, he supported eliminating the federal minimum wage. But I'm going to get to some of these images because we got to be honest, this is why it's worth addressing this. This is a smart campaign move. The images and the video coming out of this, I think, help in terms of making Trump look more personable, make him look more normal. Here he is conversing with the average man, working the fries here. This is a smart campaign move. But let's be aware. let's acknowledge that this is not who Trump cares about. Nothing he has ever done or shown displays that Trump cares about anybody, in the working class. That said, that's why photo ops like this for him are important, because in lieu of any actual policy, any actual gains for the working class, he's able to showcase, images like this to make him seem like a working class Donald, which is insane. Makes me laugh even just saying it. This is a guy who is incredibly anti-union. To view him as anything in support of working class policy is ridiculous. But all the pro-Trump accounts on this one is just over, like, endless images and video coming from this because they know this was a smart campaign move. Here he is with the workers, or at least some of the workers there. Here he is prepping the fries.
Tight. We got the salt on it. Never touches the human hand.
Very good.
Nice and full.
Thank you.
Never touches the human hand. Nice and full. So that was the extent of his actual work at McDonald's. The other part of it was him I'll get to the here, just handing the bags out. He wasn't actually taking orders because there were no orders being delivered. Again, I'll get to the staging behind all of this. But here's an example of him handing a bag out through the window. Note here, there was no microphone. He is not talking to people. He's not taking orders. He's just handing a bag through a window.
I could do this all day. I wouldn't mind this job. I like this job. I think I might come back and do it again.
Thank you.
Look at that.
Mr.
Look at that. How are you?
Thank you, Mr. President.
Nice to see you. How you doing?
You made it possible for ordinary people like us to meet you.
You're not ordinary.
I mean, thank you so
You
much
are
for
not
everything you're
ordinary.
doing.
I can see.
We pray for you, and you are the type of person we want to be the president.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
So nice. Thank you very much. Yeah, I took a bullet. That's right.
Thank you, Mr. President.
When you think about it, I guess that's right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Oh my God. It's just so ridiculous. So it just so happens everybody that came to the window was a massive Trump supporter. How convenient. So they got, they were able to get conservative media to latch onto this. New York Post. Trump works fry cooker at McDonald's. Needles Harris over claims she worked there. Claims she worked there. She worked there. There's no claims she worked there. She worked there. But of course, that was one of the other things that Trump used this appearance for, was to try and cast doubt her work at McDonald's. Because again, his attempt here is to try and bolster his working class bona fides while criticizing or while trying to undercut Harris and any connection she has to the working class. It is just so ridiculous. So Evan writing here, drive-through is one of the hardest jobs at McDonald's. He's not doing that job at all. He's just handing out food that is handed to him. He's not even wearing a headset. This is hardly working at McDonald's. Exactly right. This is just, again, pure photo op. Here's some of the evidence we have here of this being a complete staging. So Tristan sharing this one. Trump's campaign and followers claim that he was really working at McDonald's and served food. False. McDonald's was closed, and the customers were supporters who rehearsed in advance. So I got some of that in a second. But they have the image here of on the window showing that they are closed while Trump is there. And Washington Post reporting here, the restaurant was closed to the public during Trump's visit, and the motorists whom Trump served were screened by the U.S. Secret Service and positioned before his arrival. No one ordered food. Instead, the attendees received whatever Trump gave them. Trump was at the fry station for about 5 minutes and spent about 15 minutes at the drive-through window, much of it taking questions from reporters. Just a complete staged photo op. He also did not answer a question on the minimum wage. Here is a video of that.
What's your lunch order?
Pittsburgh game tonight, and we'll look forward to it, and it should be a good game.
Tell us about getting started in your own career, Mr. President. How did you tell us about those jobs that people take early on to try to make a break and how you did it?
It's a great job to take at the beginning.
Do you appreciate McDonald's more?
And to do it fast.
Oh my God. Some of those questions. The first question that was yelled out to him there, I assume these are all reporters. It sounds like they're all in the same area. What's your lunch order? Really? You're reporting on a campaign. And your question to a potential president is, what is your lunch order at McDonald's? Wild. So the guy that was asking about the minimum wage was talked over again and again. His question was never got to. I'll get to what Washington Post says. He may have responded to it, but clearly he didn't actually answer the question. I'll get to that in a second. But then the other question there at the end, tell us how you got started in your own career. Let me tell you, he worked for his daddy. That's how. So he did not work at McDonald's. Not that, look, you can't choose the family you're born into. If you're born into, a family where they own a business, I'm not going to criticize you for that. But once you the point is you have to acknowledge the obvious benefits you have that others didn't. And if you're in a position where you're a politician, at that point, your perspective should be, hey, I was really lucky. Others aren't as lucky as I am. I'm going to do what I can to help everybody else. That isn't what Trump's position is. His position is tax cuts for the rich. So this idea that he cares at all about any of these people working at McDonald's is insane. This is all completely for a photo op. Now, more on this. So the actual owner of that McDonald's, of course, is somebody who he owns 8 locations, and he's lobbied against a state proposal to make more workers eligible for overtime. So this is a guy who activists have campaigned against because of his low wages. We're also talking Pennsylvania here, where there has been, let me get to the headline first. They've blocked a wage increase for 6 months, the GOP there. So, and by the way, this is a headline from last year, so December last year. So they have continually blocked a increase in wages in Pennsylvania. Of course, no mention of that by Donald Trump, because this is not what he cares about. Also, this is where, so I guess he may have somewhat answered the question, or again, he didn't answer it. But when asked whether he supported raising the minimum wage, he said, quote, well, I think these people work hard. They're great, and I just saw something, a process that's beautiful. He's not raising the minimum wage. He does not support that. Republicans don't support that. They actively fought against that. While he was president, Republicans in the Senate won't consider any wage increases. That's from 2019. And then again later on, when Biden came in, they blocked it as well. This headline from February 2021, and that, of course, was blocked along with some conservative Democrats that helped to block that, Manchin, Sinema. So this has been an ongoing fight by the right to purposely keep wages low. And Trump betting on this appearance at a McDonald's to help him with the working class. Now, here is some polling from Data for Progress. This is from earlier this year. Let me get the actual date. So April 26, 2024. Look at the numbers here. Voters strongly support raising the minimum wage to $9, $12, and $17 per hour. So this is across the board. So likely voters in support in all of it. So even at $17 an hour, we are talking a net plus 31. Democrats, of course, in large numbers, no surprise there. Independents as well in large numbers. This is also why this kind of policy is very important to campaign on. And Republicans, of course, also support it. Except they're a little more skeptical of the $17 an hour minimum wage. They're a net minus 6 there. But Republican voters also support raising the minimum wage. This is an easy thing for people to run on, for Democrats to run on. And I don't know. Campaigning to the right, I don't think has really benefited Kamala Harris too much since the Joyce campaign that she had in the first month. But this is where things are. Bernie Sanders tweeting out here. Yesterday, Donald Trump did 15 minutes of work at McDonald's where tens of thousands of employees earn starvation wages. But when asked whether he would whether we need to raise the minimum wage, he refused to comment. I will comment. We need to raise the federal minimum wage to $17 an hour. Bernie Sanders knows the popularity of this, and it's the right thing to do. But in addition to that, it is a popular thing to fight for. So he's at least doing his part to try and discuss this. It's also worth mentioning this. Just these. I don't know why the campaign. I mean, I know why, but it's so stupid for the Trump campaign to just create these controversies out of nothing. Kamala Harris worked at McDonald's. I'll get to some of that in a second. But here he is answering a question on this.
Mr. President, you actually have worked at McDonald's now versus...
Now I have worked at McDonald's. I've now worked for 15 minutes more than Kamala.
Why would she lie about that?
Why? Because she's lying, Kamala. That's why.
Stop for a second and really think on how ridiculous this is and how clearly Trump is graded on this curve that no one else is. Imagine Kamala Harris claimed that The Apprentice on NBC. No, that was never a popular show. Nobody watched The Apprentice. Just lying. The Apprentice was popular, but no one watched it. Wasn't popular. They'd be like, "Are you okay? Why are you lying about this? We need to examine your brain. Something wrong?" But it's like Donald Trump does it. Lies blatantly all the time about whatever. And it's just, oh, it's Donald Trump. Who cares? The issue is, while people that aren't moronic understand he's full of crap, claims like this seep into the public consciousness where people begin thinking, oh, I heard Kamala Harris didn't work at McDonald's. She was lying about that. And then that, takes on a life of its own. That's the issue with these kinds of lies. That's why Trump does this, because he knows he can get away with this. He's not going to be criticized in any way it's going to actually hurt his campaign in the moment. And these sorts of lies seep into the public consciousness. This is what he's been taught to do his entire life, whether it's about lying about somebody else or bolstering his own his own successes or failures into successes. This is what he's done his entire career, and he's been able to get away with it. And people just look at him as some character. Oh, it's just Donald Trump. Yeah, just Donald Trump, a guy who lies constantly and does it in a way that doesn't have an impact on him in a way that it would on other people. It's wild to witness in real time over and over. Just to be clear on this, since we're discussing it, now I have to talk about it. Yes, Harris worked at McDonald's. She worked at a McDonald's in Central Avenue in Alameda, California in the summer of '83. She was a student at Howard University at the time. I don't really care. Okay, yeah, she worked there. I just feel like I have to put this in here to combat the claim. She also has brought this up before she was ever a candidate for this election. So it was brought up earlier this year. She also talked about it in 2019 when she joined the McDonald's workers in Las Vegas who were protesting for higher wages. So this isn't the first time this has come up. Like in this campaign, she's talked about this in the past. She worked there. Let's compare her to Trump, who began his career working at his father's real estate company. And aside from television and film, he never held a job at a company that didn't bear his own name. So this is his first time ever. Again, he didn't even work at McDonald's here, but this is his first time even touching any kind of normal job. But again, this idea that people have, oh, he's the guy that really connects with the average person, the working class. No, he is completely full of crap.